For my deep learning final project, I chose to do a case study in Hollywood. My goal was to see if I could predict the average vote amongst all users for a given movie. For my dataset, I used the TMDB 5000 movie dataset from Kaggle. It's got a ton of columns of data, of which I used a small subset, specifically cast, crew, vote average, vote count, genres, and keywords, as well as the title. And for the crew, I used a subset, which were director, screenplay, writer, editor, and the director of photography. To give you a sense of the vote average of some popular movies, Avatar has a 7.2, Clerks has a 7.4, Primer has a 6.9, and Spider-Man 3 has a 5.9. The average of all the movie scores was 6.32. We subtracted that from each individual movie to come up with a residual, and then we took the average of the absolute value of all those residuals to come up with our baseline value, which was an MAE, or mean absolute error score, of 0.67. Our hope is that our model will have a score less than 0.67. Before we can feed our data to our model, we must encode it first. Because our data is categorical, we're going to use one-hot encoding. To see an example of how this works, let's take a look at genres. We have 19 unique genres. We're going to give each one an ID which corresponds to where it should fall in the vector, and then we'll create an encoded vector of zeros except for the genres that apply to the movie, which will be ones. In this case, an animated comedy. We do this for every movie and for every category of information, so that in the end, we have vectors of 65,526 digits in length to feed to our model. This is what our model looks like. It's a series of dense layers and dropout layers to prevent overfitting, and a final activation of sigmoid to correspond to a 0 to 1 rating. And after some training, we got a MAE score of 0.509, which is an improvement over our baseline. Here is a graph of the predicted scores over the actual scores. You can see it has some trouble getting scores less than 5 and over 7 in the extreme values. And here is a list of some of the predictions.